Lassiter Factor.
What's up, all my movie-loving maniacs? This is your boy Bangful B of the Lassiter Factor, and I wanted to take a moment to talk about Fast and Furious Supercharged, which is a ride at Universal Orlando, which recently closed. Now, back in May, I went to Universal Orlando for my birthday, and this ride was one of those attractions that I always wanted to ride for various reasons. Because, one, I hadn't been to Universal Orlando since I was a teenager, so that's like damn near almost 20 years ago, and since then they have built this ride which I always wanted to ride, which I finally got a chance to ride. But at the same time, I've heard nothing but bad things about it. I've heard that this ride is either bad or just hilariously bad. And when I finally got a chance to ride that ride back in May, I walked away feeling like it was fun. But then once I stopped to think about it for more than 30 seconds, it was like, yeah, that ride was some bullshit. I mean, this ride is exactly like the Kong Skull Island ride over in Islands of Adventure. It's just a little less thrilling, at least for me. I prefer the Skull Island version of this ride more than this version of the ride, in which you just have a screen that goes around 360, and then you're on a party bus and shit is either flying to you or you're just jumping around. The best way I can describe my experience with this ride is it was good, but it could have been better. Now, thank God they're making up for it by giving us the Fast and Furious Drift roller coaster, which is currently being built in Universal Orlando. In fact, it was being built when I was out there, but it wasn't even near the progress that it is now. And I don't know when it's supposed to open, but I'm happy that it's opening up there and can't wait to ride it the next time I go to Universal Orlando. I'm happy that Fast and Furious will still have some representation within these parks, because the Fast and Furious as a franchise, despite how questionable it's become with recent movies, it is a franchise that does warrant a third ride, and I'm happy for that. But since this ride is closing, that means we got this particular space open, and who knows what they're about to put there. And maybe Universal already has plans in line to do something to replace this ride, but I do want to take a moment to give some of my ideas on what I would do with this space. For instance, I would bring back a few classic rides such as Earthquake, which I believe that was the ride before it became Fast and Furious Supercharged. I think at one point they rebranded it to call it Disaster. I don't really know. I have vivid memories of riding these two iterations of this particular ride, but either way, I will bring it back, because I do think this park does deserve a ride like this in which everything is practical and you feel like you're in an actual earthquake. People deserve a ride in this park that has actual practical things in it. Hell, use that space to bring back the Back to the Future ride, or Jaws, or Confrontation. Lately, ever since I went to Universal Orlando back in May, I've been deep into theme park culture and its history and the different rides that Universal and Disney has had over the years. And some of them I vividly remember, some of them I never got a chance to ride. So I'm pitching these particular classic Universal rides because I do think they deserve to come back and better than what they were before. Or even if you don't bring back a classic Universal ride, then just use that space to make another Harry Potter themed ride. Because Universal, y'all need more than just that one ride over in Diagon Alley. And maybe I'm just speaking for personal experience, but we need another ride or even just a show, something Harry Potter related, especially for the people that couldn't even get on that ride because they're too damn big. Yeah, I'm still a little salty about that. Even outside of your classic rides or Harry Potter, you want to do something new? Okay, then make it a Pokemon themed ride. Just imagine getting on some cart or whatever and you're just going around on this simulator trying to catch Pokemon. Or turn it into a Super Smash Brothers ride. I'm just saying, you already got Nintendo representation over in the Epic universe, so let's expand that to the other two parks. Maybe a Ted themed ride. I don't know how that would work, but Universal owns the Ted franchise, and Ted has had a bit of a resurgence because of the TV show, so why not? Since y'all closed down Shrek 4D to make way for Minions and Despicable Me, then let's bring Shrek back and put it in that Fast and Furious Supercharged space and make it a Shrek themed ride. Or shit, we already got King Kong represented in Universal, so let's bring Godzilla in, or a Godzilla vs. Kong type ride. Now, years ago, I heard Lionsgate was trying to make their own little theme park. I don't know how true that was or if it's still happening, but in case it isn't, let's make it a Hunger Games themed ride. Or Now You See Me type ride, which is also owned by Lionsgate. So Lionsgate, you got two franchises that you could license out to Universal to create a ride out there. I already know Blumhouse has its own little Halloween Horror Nights thing going for Halloween Horror Nights over at Universal, but let's turn that space and make it something themed to Blumhouse. I mean, across from the park, you got a horror makeup show going. So let's get a Blumhouse show going somehow, or a ride, something. Do something with the things that Blumhouse owns. Sticking with the theme of movie making within these parks, let's pick a particular director and give him his own little theme ride, like Quentin Tarantino. Quentin Tarantino has a plethora of iconic characters that he has created. I'm surprised nobody hasn't tried to make a ride based off of one of his movies. Granted, most of his movies are not family friendly, but still, I'm pretty sure Universal could find a way to make a ride or a show based around one of or two of his movies. In fact, I'm surprised you don't have the bride from Kill Bill or characters from Pulp Fiction walking around Universal Orlando. But those are some of my ideas on what I would do with that particular space that used to be occupied by Fast and Furious Supercharged. What do you think of those ideas? Do you like some of those ideas? What would you do with that particular space? What would you turn it into? Let me know in the comment section below. Rest in peace, Fast and Furious Supercharged. You will be missed. No, you won't. Who am I kidding? But I am happy that I got a chance to finally ride it before it closed. This your boy, Bankful B of the Lassiter Factor. Stay safe, wash your hands, peace.